Hi, my name is John, and for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm working on getting my master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. And so today I wanted to do something kind of fun and a little bit different from what we usually do on this channel, and I wanted to take a look at the personality of Rise Kujikawa from Persona 4 and what her personality type specifically would be if she were to take the Myers Briggs Type Indicator assessment. So if you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from this channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and why not even ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And while you're at it, why not sharing it wherever you like sharing things? But with all that out of the way, let's just jump into the video. If you're not familiar with the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, it's a tool that can be used in a lot of different ways within a counseling setting for non-diagnostic purposes specifically. So within the realm of career counseling, the Myers-Briggs could be used as a good starting point in someone's job search if they aren't sure what they want to do and just don't know where to start, as this would give an added opportunity for them to better understand themselves and how that could align with a potential job. And just in general counseling, having that ability to better understand themselves could be a huge benefit to someone who may struggle with that, just like Rise does through a lot of her social link. And so this test is based on the 4 basic aspects of a person's personality, which are where they get their energy from, what kind of information they prefer to use, what processes they use to make those decisions, and how they deal with the world around them. And once these aspects are determined by taking the actual Myers-Briggs test, we can determine that person's personality type. And so now the question is, based off of the information that we know from Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden, what is Rise Kujikawa's Myers-Briggs personality type? Well, since we can't actually have her sit down and take the test, we'll have to do some sleuthing. So let's start out by exploring how Rise chooses to experience the world around her, which can be characterized by the Myers-Briggs as either a tendency towards extroversion or introversion. Now, with Rise, let's be honest here, this is a pretty easy one to pinpoint. Even though we learned throughout the course of her social link that she describes herself when she was younger as actually being pretty shy, and because of this shyness, this led to her being bullied by her classmates, which almost kind of became a self-fulfilling prophecy, because a lot of times it's much harder to open up and be yourself when you're the target of harassment. So I don't know about you, but I feel as though when someone hears the word shy, it tends to be a knee-jerk reaction to assume that just because they're shy at one point, that this immediately makes them an introvert, which in all honesty is a huge misconception, because being shy has absolutely nothing to do with determining whether someone is an introvert or an extrovert. To boil this idea down to its most basic elements, we need to look at what comes most naturally to Rise in terms of how she experiences the world around her and where she tends to draw her energy from. Rise joins the party a decent way through the game, and she is honestly the most socially adept of the group, barring maybe the protagonist, Yu. While this likely stems from habits that she built as an idol, she almost takes the role of being the social coordinator of the group, like when they went on their school exchange trip with Gekkoken High School, and she's able to show the investigation team around and take them to a club that she'd performed at before, where various antics ensue.
Time for the King's Game! Kanji! Get the chopsticks ready!
This in addition to the fact that she's always palling around with Teddy or Kanji, or is constantly flirting with and at times making kind of mischievous advances towards the protagonist, shows just how focused her attention is on the outside world and the people in it. I mean, numerous times through her social link, she makes very telling comments that she doesn't like being alone, with the most blatant being in her 7th social link. It's here that she comments on the fact that when she was on tour, she would be alone to the point that she would have to keep everything she was feeling inside, and Essentially, that's not what she wants. It's for these core reasons that I think that the first letter in her personality type that we can really settle on is her inherent extroversion. But if this is how she gains energy and likes to experience the world, the next step is to figure out how Rise actually interprets information. Now this one's a little bit less straightforward because arguments can be made for her being either an intuitive or a sensing type, because in reality, when we're looking at these Myers-Briggs types, people seem to think that you have to be entirely one or entirely the other, which is honestly, that isn't the case. You can have aspects of an intuitive type even if you are predominantly a sensing type, and that goes with all of these different aspects of personality. But ultimately, I settled on her being a sensing type for a number of reasons. People within the sensing type are ones who have a tendency to focus on the present and much more concrete information that they're able to gain through the use of their senses and their experiences. And because her sensing is extroverted in nature, this makes Rise very much a realist, which can be seen most explicitly when she is using her persona Himiko. The way her persona works, of course, is the investigation needs to go around town and gather specific and concrete information about whomever Rise is searching for at the particular time, so that they can bring back this information for her to interpret and use her heightened senses through her persona to find their target, whether this is Naoto, Nanako, or this clown.
No! God, please, no! No!
This ability to retain these facts and utilize them easily in the TV world once she has them locked down is incredibly impressive. And since in this game, a person's persona is really just an elevated manifestation of their true selves, it makes a lot of sense that this would be the case, that she is this sensing type. But if this is how she gains information, how does she apply it? Now this question takes us to deciding whether she's a feeler or a thinker in her decision making. And is this even really a question? She is without a doubt a feeling type. When she makes decisions, whether for good or for bad, she always follows her heart. I think that Rise portrays this idea exceptionally well when she says this.
Idol isn't some doll in a window being held up for public display. I think it means somebody who can endure things and stand their ground, no matter which way they're pushed. Even if that girl doesn't write me letters, I bet she'll still watch me if I'm on TV. I can be her strength, as well as many other people's strengths. Even though many things may not go my way and I may be troubled, swept off my feet and get lost, I won't lose. I have to protect the smiles of the people who are precious to me. That's the resolve I found after meeting all of you.
This very idealistic stance is hugely indicative of being a feeling type. Rise follows her heart in her emotions almost at all times, whether it's in her relationship with you, being very flirtatious and compassionate, assuming that she's the love interest chosen in that particular playthrough, but also in terms of her career. In general, people with this type have a much higher likelihood for burnout when they become too involved or too enmeshed in their work, which is exactly what we see happen to Rise right as we're meeting her. She ends up in Inaba because she needed a break from the constant limelight and scrutiny that comes with the job of being an idol. Now, just because someone's a feeling type like Rise doesn't mean that they can't think with logic. It doesn't mean that by any means, but it more so means that they just won't be likely to disregard their emotions or the emotions of others. Rise experiences her emotions to their fullest, from the lows of when we meet her as she's taking a break in Marikyu, just kind of on the down low, to the highs when you're talking with her on the beach about her future. And this leads perfectly into the final aspect of one's personality, which looks at how she deals with options when they're presented to her, so that we can determine whether she's a judging or a perceiving type. For me, the answer is clear that she's definitely a perceiving type, which is characterized by the Myers-Briggs Foundation as being much more spontaneous and flexible on the whole. This is indicated in a number of places throughout the course of the game, as she immediately offers her services to the investigation team once they save her. We see throughout a number of her social links that she is very spontaneous. When she wants to go somewhere or do something, she does. Whether this is going shopping at the mall, exploring new places, or just wanting to see all the cool spots around town, and most of the time dragging you along with her. She isn't really the kind of person who has much interest in adhering to a rigid schedule, which would be much more indicative of a judging type. And it would be an understatement to say that she's a bit impulsive from time to time. Because if people within this type, and obviously all of these are generalizations, but people within this type tend to be pretty willing to let go of something if they aren't satisfied with it in the moment, and moving on to something else that they're just a bit more passionate about in the future. Just like she's able to replace the void of being an idol with her passion for being a part of the investigation team once they save her. Well, this is not to say that she doesn't struggle with her decisions and being able to find who she is for herself, because she definitely does, with this being the crux of her social link. It does mean that she's able to make decisions quickly and tends to react to her environment instead of trying to control it. And so, with all of that taken into consideration, this shows us that Rise Kujikawa is an ESFP, which according to the official Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is generally characterized as an individual who's outgoing, friendly, and accepting. They're exuberant lovers of life, people, and material comforts. They enjoy working with others to make things happen, and they bring common sense and realistic approaches to their work and make that work fun. They're flexible and spontaneous, adapt readily to new people and environments, and learn best by trying new skills with other people. And if this isn't the best description of Rise Kujikawa, then I don't know what is. It's very little surprise that this personality type is typically referred to as the entertainer, because Rise, whether she's putting on her Rosette persona or she's simply Rise, is always the life of the party. And we can see this with very little room for doubt when the crew is in the club while they're on their school trip, or even during the school festival. Like many ESFPs, she will value good clothes, good food, and being an idol. Obviously, she loves good music and the entertainment industry. She's able to easily get along with almost everyone that she encounters. And while on the surface, she could be perceived as an overly excited and potentially ditzy idol, once you get the chance to experience her in the story, you'll realize there's a lot more to her character than meets the eye. Not just anyone can be successful in showbiz. And so while she may not always be the most book smart, she gains incredible amounts of knowledge from her first-hand experiences, which is why she's able to blow up to be so famous as an idol. So while it's easy to write her off as the ditz of the group, in reality, she's probably one of the most savvy and intelligent characters that you will have in your party throughout Persona 4. But that'll do it for today's video, guys, and I actually really want your feedback. Is this a style of video that you want to keep seeing from this channel, looking at different characters from different franchises, personality types? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, why not even tell me if you agree with my thoughts about Rise's personality type. So, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and why not even ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And why not even share in the video wherever you like sharing things. It's always so appreciated. As always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And I will see you in the next video. Later.